Good shit. I'm gonna give you a eulogy right there and then.
So if I'm bitten the dick, just singing the song. That's it.
Just in the eyes of an angel. And-
Y yo no vuelvo de parar. Yo no juego con bandolero, porque yo sé que voy a ganar. Yo sé que voy a ganar a la acción mía, voy a pichar. Y yo no vuelvo de parar. Yo no juego con bandolero, porque yo sé que voy a ganar. Yo sé que voy a ganar.
Hey, what up? What up? Woohoo!
I'm in the woods.
You're in the woods dancing around. You're a witch.
in the Blair Witch Woods.
You're a wizard.
Oh my goodness.
What is going on?
Same old thing, fleas and fabulous.
Fleas and what?
Fabulous. Same old thing, fleas and fabulous.
Fleas and fabulous. I love it. I don't know where to go with that.
You're gonna be itching. You're gonna be itching in a little bit.
Yo, God. That's one of those surprise motherfuckers going on.
Always. Got to keep it raw. Got to keep it interesting.
Yo, yeah, it's raw, right? You're gonna be chewing yourself raw like a dog.
What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I am actually super excited. This is such a great day. We're actually celebrating 4 years together. 4 years. I mean, you've tolerated me a lot longer than that, but to be on our podcast for 4 years, it's awesome.
4 years and no breakups and no separations and no time off. Just straight 4 years.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you want to talk about?
Good
but
shit.
this is such a great day to talk about. Actually, technically, by the time this drops out, this will probably be like 2 weeks out already. So so this is actually our 4-year anniversary was on the 29th of this past month.
Right.
So it was actually really cool because for those of you who have followed us from the beginning, you guys know this is where we came in to pretty much bullshit about movies and talk shit all the time, and
all the time.
we've just evolved. We just kind of evolved. So we're just gonna talk about a lot of great memories. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff that's happened. But I did want to kind of get us going with our Instagram question of the week, baby. Ruh-roh indeed. I actually love this week's interaction. So everyone who actually interacted, please continue interacting with this specific question. I would love to continue seeing what you guys have said. But give me a minute to pull it up because our lovely question of the week was poppin'. So the question of the week is, and I'm gonna ask the same question to you, so you're gonna get a chance to respond to this.
Ooh, raw and real. All right.
If you and your best friend were out there in the woods or just out there in the wilderness, right? Mm-hmm. And they are bitten by a poisonous snake, and the only way to help them is by sucking it out, would you do it?
Depends on where they bit.
So,
you get bit in the dick, I ain't sucking shit. I'm gonna give you a eulogy right there and then.
So if I'm bitten the dick, just singing the song. That's it.
Just in the eyes of an angel. I would throw some berries at you and be like, man, you were so great. You were thick and thin. You're like, help me. I ain't sucking shit. Do I look like it?
Oh, man. So the funniest responses we've gotten so far was this one had me going.
Huh.
It says, the response to the question was, you want me to what? And he goes, I start singing Boys to Men song, How do I say goodbye? Bro, I was crying. That shit had me going. And someone actually put in The Eyes of the Angel, the song you just said.
It's a staple. Every funeral I've ever been to, they said, "Oh, so you ain't listen to that song until today. Don't nobody listen to that song until the friggin'." You see, as you brought up the woods, and we got friggin'.
There you go.
Got the woods in the
my
background.
And some people were like, "Oh, depending on where the bite is, I would save them." Some people were like, "Man, I ain't doing shit, bro. I'm gonna call ambulance." I'm like, "Yeah, but by the time the ambulance gets there,
to the
like,
woods,
yeah, you're dead. They're dead." So,
you said in the middle of the woods. We're not near anything. We went on a hike. We went hunting for a few days. Be out there. It bit you in the ass. We haven't showered in how many days? I ain't sucking nothing.
Damn. Now it's the trickiest part. So I've heard this question on another podcast, and it had me rolling because they asked the question, but they say, if the snake bit me in the tool, would you do it? And the other one immediately says, "No, I'm not doing it. I don't care." Like you got bit.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So some people, I don't know, man. If you got bitten too, I don't think I would be able to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna save your life." I don't know. It'll be a lot. You would have to be like, I would have to see you like writhing in pain, and maybe I consider like putting a straw there and let it just leak out.
A straw. I'll find a straw in the woods.
Yeah. Hopefully it's been packed up in
straw.
like a backpack.
It's a paper straw that we fashioned. We whittled the straw.
Whittled it. Just out there, just whittling it up. Like, I got you, homie. I got you.
Don't worry, we're gonna get all that venom out.
So it's funny. So after I posted the question, obviously I had a lot of fun reading a lot of the responses.
Yeah.
And some of them were still coming in today. But we were talking I was talking with my wife, and she was like, "No, they're dead. I'm gonna call out 911 and see if they get there in time, or stay on the line with them on the phone while they do it, and then tell me what I got to do." So I ended up looking it up on the CDC website if that even works.
Thank you
said
for not just Googling it.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Google's like Wikipedia nowadays. Anybody say anything.
Yeah, so originally I did Google it, and it took me to the CDC website. So then I went to the CDC and I started digging. And then when I dig through the CDC, it does say that if you were to get bitten, it is it's false to try to suck out the poison, because apparently how fast the poison will go through your body, it would hit the bloodstream so fast that you would have to suck out enough blood for it to like not go further out. Yeah, so you would pretty much you would be, and they say don't even cut the wound and leave it open to like drip, because it's not going to drip enough, and you can easily accidentally kill yourself if you hit too deep. Yeah,
and plus, like, you just got bit, your heart rate's up, so now it's moving faster, blood pressure.
Exactly.
Fuck, you screwed.
So they say, yeah. So like, if you get bit in the middle of the woods, they were like, "Oh, they're like, don't put it in water, but wash it with soap." I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, some of the tactics to clean it or to try to like hold it is so stupid.
Imagine being in the woods, and I was like, "I got you, bro," and I bit you in the dick, and here I go trying to suck the venom out. I get something else, and it's not the venom, and you die anyway. And I get home, and I'm like, "Shit, what could I have done better?" And I Google it and go to the CDC, and it was all for naught. I just sucked your dick in the middle of the woods.
Oh God!
For no fucking reason.
For no fucking reason. Hey, you let me go out with a bang.
And then I go to your wife, and we look through your phone, and be like, "He knew that shit. He actually Googled the CDC." And he didn't tell me nothing. That son of a bitch. I hope he just didn't burn in the crematorium. I hope he burns in hell too. He knew it wasn't gonna work, and he still let me suck his dick. Son of a bitch.
Now I'm in heaven sitting there looking at you. Ha back.
You
That would
gave
be some
us
shit I
fucking
would.
my dick. Oh shit!
My going away present was giving you the cock meat sandwich on accident.
As I said, we're in the middle of the woods. We haven't bathed for days. I thought I was
Oh, sweaty, just sweaty and swamp ass.
Smell like a bag of salt and vinegar chips.
Oh man, if you actually were to have done it though, you the MVP.
Most valuable penis.
That'll be me, sir. Thank you. A-Town down.
Oh, I hate him. Austin Theory. He's damn. 4 years and we're still cracking up. Look at that.
Oh God, I love it. God, that was a great question. I know there's a lot of responses that were in there that were really good. So thank you guys again who's jumped in. If you guys want to jump in the comments and give us your response and let us know what you think, please do, because I would love to see what people say with that.
I'm gonna ask my wife when we're done. see how loyal she really is.
Oh God, I could definitely see her looking at you with this weird face, like the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, I ain't doing that.
Like you're dead in the eyes.
If I don't bathe for the evening, I don't get nothing. If I bathe for a few days, she ain't even sniffing me.
Oh man.
What else we got?
Well, I wanted to talk about some Rated F news. I know you actually had told me about some Rated F news that we need to jump in actually right away. Well, I'll let you lead this one.
Okay, cool, man. Some fucking Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk.
Fucking Phil Brooks with a PH on that too.
Old fucking Phil Brooks. He has been fired with cause from AEW. Now, what with cause means fuck your contract. You ain't getting paid no more. Ironically, I'm gonna bring up to that too, and it was because of another altercation. I think it was a brawl in.
Right after All In.
Yeah.
No, it was an All In
when the altercation with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And that's why he was suspended. He was gone for a little bit, and then he came back, and they made Collision literally for him, so he could have a show like based off of him, and he could do whatever he wants. He was actually at the time carrying around a title belt with a big X that was spray painted on it, saying "I never lost it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, but when you're acting like that, you lost it. You're gone. You kind of need a champion here." So, things happened, and then I think it was Jack Perry in the background. And I think it was a probable cause, but he's just so emotional and very hard on the sleeve kind of person, it seems. I don't know him personally, but professionally, it seems that he's very opinionated in how he conducts himself and how things are conducted around him. And I guess there was a spot that he didn't like or an idea, and it became this physical altercation that Tony Khan was a few feet away from. And he said it himself, he was like, I've never seen or felt an altercation like that where I felt like other people were going to be in danger or my life was going to be in danger, because it seems like CM Punk had went towards Khan after the altercation, and he was still heated, and he felt like he was going to be attacked. So it was, crazy to hear. I don't know like all the details, but it happened in Wembley when they were out in
England,
and there's CCTV footage like every corner of London and the UK. Like they take
that's true. That those cameras are like looking at each other like that.
Mm-hmm. Like everything is crossed, so it's like they take their CCTV very, very seriously, and they had a lot of CCTV in Wembley, so you see all of it. and they haven't released anything yet. I think that one day, maybe in the future, they will release.
I could see it being released in like a month.
Yeah, after everything cools down and all the legalities go through, and they already fired this guy, so it's just like, all right. I think the reason why Jack Perry hasn't been, I think he's
suspended.
He's on a suspension until the investigation is over. So I think he might be back soon because they already made the committee has already made the decision along with Tony Khan.
I've heard, and I don't know how much truth it is, but I've heard from a few people that there's a report saying that Jungle Boy Jack Perry may get the boot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he may also may get fired because he kind of instigated the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Punk just got the quicker reaction because of it's already like 2 or 3 strikes with him. So they were like, they don't want to chance another bigger altercation.
Yeah. And I know WWE likes to keep their stuff under wraps. So I know that there's been backstage altercations with him as well. And it's just like, damn it, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you not think about, I guess, in the heat of the moment, or like, fuck, anybody says something about you, okay, you're in the wrestling business. It's step on who to be stepped on. That's fine. Okay.
Yep.
Like, even in JPW, you guys aren't even getting paid and they're stepping on each other. So it's like, all right, like, damn, like, okay, it's serious.
It's true. The wrestling business is very cutthroat, and if you're not ready for it, they're gonna touch you right at your ankles.
Right. So I guess Jack Perry wanted to do something, and it said it was a work or shoot. I can't remember the difference. But
I think it was something from his match already that he did. It was a glass spot that they did, and I don't think Punk was super thrilled about it because I think his match proceeded after that.
Yeah.
And I think he got cut on something or he got hurt on something a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, I think, and then it just like, it's either, I've heard 2 things. I heard is what I just said. I also heard is that Jack Perry wanted to do a glass spot and CM Punk said, no, that's a bad idea. Because of where you want to do it, it's risky.
Yeah.
And you guys can get yourself hurt and you can get a fan hurt.
Yeah.
And Jack Perry got in his face and started a whole thing with him. And if you jump into Punk's face, he's not gonna back down. He's not gonna be okay, you wanna, like, even if he knows that he's in a hot seat, he's still gonna defend himself.
Yeah.
So I don't think in this particular situation, I don't think he was in the wrong in how he reacted to Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry should have, he already has the microscope on Punk. Let Punk mess up if you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack Perry was a little bit out of pocket with the way he responded, and then the fight ensued. Now, where Punk was out of line was when he then like turned and ran at TK, and running at Tony. I heard he screamed in there that he quit. He goes, "That's it, I fucking quit. I fucking quit," is what he pretty much was screaming at the top of his lungs, repeating.
Yeah, it was like the top of it, like it was like the heat of the moment kind of thing. But then he went out for his match anyway because he calmed down because Samoa Joe calmed the situation down. And it's like, like, one part of me, I'm a big CM Punk fan. Like, I've always been a big CM Punk fan. I like the way he maneuvers in the ring. I like it. He's not like the best athlete in the world, but his character, both in and outside of the ring, has always been the same. It's not like he's playing somebody who he isn't. That's literally how he is. Like, he's not gonna to do anything outside of that box. So, like, I've always admired him for that. It's just like, say whatever you want. Like, the consequences don't matter, because if the consequences do matter, that means you're not supposed to be there in the first place. But they're like, I got to think about the fans. Like, 7 years plus of him not being in the ring, and what an ovation that he got when he finally came back into AEW, and pretty much everything that they've given him for you to just, be hot-headed. I don't know what the situation was. I'm not exactly sure why it popped up the way that it did, but it was just like, if it's just a difference in ideology of what is safe or what isn't, or what was said in the ring, because I know that Jack Perry had a promo in the ring and he said some shit. And I was like, okay, if you don't like what he says, or if you didn't know what he was going to say, then this falls back on that whole creative freedom thing.
Yep.
If you're in a ring just saying whatever the hell you want and think it's going to be a surprise, it's like, okay, are you serious or are you not? Because we're supposed to be pinging off each other. We got a storyline coming up, and we got to face each other. But you're not telling me what you're going to say. You're not.
Yeah, and I think that's
so
the
it
main
comes off
issue
as real.
with them. No, and it's true, and I think that's been the main issue with AEW is that since it came out that pretty much the boys in the back kind of talk about it briefly and say, hey, this is what's going to happen on a promo, and they kind of like clear it with each other. Yeah. But sometimes that they don't clear everything with each other, so like they'll give them the gist of what it's going to say, and they're going to say, hey, look, I'm going to ad-lib most of it. I definitely think that they need to run it and have their creative control taken away, because apparently you guys can't run with it and say, okay, and play nice and say, listen, this is what's going to say.
I mean,
is this too far? Like, should I pull it back?
It's always been like, you think it's like a brand new company and everything is going crazy. It's not like WWE is all, it's sunshine and flowers. It's not. They have their altercations. They have their backstage heat. You don't hear about it as in much detail as it is at AEW. AEW is a wide open book. Like, everything comes out, and it's like, seriously?
I think that's Tony Khan's like complete fault, because he's the one who leaks it. It's not even like, oh, like somebody that's like a source in there that is friends with a reporter. Like, no, this is it's always out of Tony Khan's mouth. People. Yeah, it's like, Tony, like, shut the fuck up. Like, there's sometimes where you can. I think, and not to cut you off, I think there's some times where you sit there and you're looking at Tony Khan. I feel like he's trying to make this real life into story. So he's like, okay, this is like a legit real altercation. How can we spin it and make it real? And he's not realizing that you can't spin all these stories as a real story. Yeah. You have to find a way to pretty much embellish a little bit of what happened. Yeah. And maybe not let the public know about it, but then you let the fighters kind of go off, because what's going to happen is that social media is big right now. So it leaking just a little bit that stuff has been going on in the background. Fans are going to go off of it. And right now, Punk's image is not at the greatest point of his career.
No, not at all. So I was just like, man, what? Like, it doesn't really make sense. I know, like, Tony Khan and they have 5 years under his belt, 4 or 5 years around that, about of AEW in existence, and Tony Khan being
3 years. They're going on 4 years.
They're going on 4 years, yeah. So
I think next year February, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay. So like, there's a lot to absorb from that when it comes to like getting the kinks worked out. I know Jay, your younger brother, would have a couple of things to say about that, but it's also a lot harder when you're dealing, with a company of that, a company in general, but a company of that magnitude, and so many egos and people coming in, and money and creative differences, and it becomes convoluted to the point that it's like, how do you make everyone happy? You don't. You make them obey. These are the ones that's it, and get the hell out. And I think CM Punk being fired, especially with I think it was Turner, Network, that made Collision for CM Punk for the ratings.
Well, I think they made Collision, and they said that the premise was that Punk would be their Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. So he would be their mainstay of that show. And then TK used it as, okay, well, this is good then. We'll use Collision as a filter of our people, and where the room is divided, we will separate them and say, okay, you guys will all go here, and the rest of you stay in our flagship show. Some of you guys will be on Dark, and then the ROH show, and
it's a brand split. Yeah, so it's like, okay, you have Rampage and Dynamite, and then as you said, you have you have ROH, and then you have Collision, which seems to be its own thing too. So now I think it's a good thing. I've heard Seth Rollins say this before, and I really, really doubt that WWE will take CM Punk back in because they don't need him. They have so many good stars. The pop and the ratings and the television ratings of having him on the show are not worth the backstage bullshit that just goes on. I'm not sure if it's entirely his fault, or he just looks for trouble, or he just likes his own way so much that it becomes almost a cancer. And that's what Seth Rollins said. He was like, CM Punk is a cancer. He's like, he does not belong anywhere, and I really hope that he does not come back here.
So and it's funny because I think he said that a few years back. He had said that a few years ago, and then this year, Punk went when he got into that first altercation with the Elite, and he went backstage of WWE in the midst of like this like minor suspension he was on, and he talked to everybody. The Miz, I think he talked to Seth, he talked to Triple H, he talked to Dolph. He talked to a bunch of people that he had like known heat with, and he made amends. He apologized. He had like great conversations with everybody. And then Vince caught wind that he was there, and Tony Khan had already been under this impression that WWE was trying to tamper and threatened that he would put a lawsuit on WWE if they were caught tampering again. So they told him, "Hey, thanks for coming. You just can't be here right now. You're still under contract."
Yeah.
And he said, okay. He didn't make a fuss. He was there with AJ, I heard, his wife. And he said bye to everybody. He left quietly. I think, and this is just a theory, I may be wrong. And I know a few people may kind of jump in on this. So if you guys do, jump in the comments. Let me hear what you guys got to say. But here's my theory. After that first altercation with the EVPs, the elites, I think Punk saw the writing on the wall. I think he said, "Fuck, I signed this long ass contract with them. They don't get along with me, and I tried to get along with them, and it's not working, and they just completely don't want to deal with me now."
Right.
And I think he was trying to find a way to get out of his contract, and I think he mended bridges in WWE. AEW has to bring him back because he's still under contract, and TNT said, "You're bringing him back because we want him as our Collision head." So they're like, "Okay, we'll do it. We'll bring him back." So they bring him back. He's under contract. He's like, "Shit, I got to do these fights. I'm under contract with these guys, but now I want out." And they're not. And Tony Khan's already said, like, if you ask for your release, you're not gonna release. We're not gonna release you.
Really, they had that conversation. I mean, I heard that Tony Khan was saying that, like, if people ask for releases, you're here. You came here. So do your contract and then you'll leave afterwards. Like,
yeah, which is what I think he knew that he can get out of it. Now, I don't think he had that conversation with him. I think he, it was already out in the woodworks. If you're signed, you're here. We're not releasing contracts. So I think Punk was like, okay, how do I get out of this and still make this good for me so then I can go and still get enough heat. So if I do go and sign with WWE, I'm ready. Like, I'm going to have this massive surprise pop, whatever way it goes. Of course, a lot of people are going to suspect he's going to go there, but if he goes to WWE, Impact, New Japan, he's going to have this surprise pop, I feel.
Right.
So I think he mended bridges over at WWE to leave his option open, and he was finding a way to get out of his contract. And I think Jungle Boy Jack Perry was a casualty for something that said, I can get out of this contract, and saw bullseye.
Okay. I could see that.
Because put it this way, if he's had this much beef with all these other wrestlers, right? But he was able to now make amends with said wrestlers. So I don't see why you can't sit there and say, Why you can't sit there and say that he is not working his magic?
Right. I could definitely understand that. I mean, that kind of opens my eyes to like a reason of why. Because if you have something weird to say about me, I don't really see a reason to fight about it, because if it's a difference or if it's just, a promo or this or that, if you come back and it seems like Jack Perry was like, hey, that was scripted, like, and then it blew out to be something much bigger than that. But if it was just him being a hothead or if it was him being strategic, I don't know. I did hear some rumors from WWE that this would be an opportunity for him to come for the Rumble. But that's everybody's thing. Like, oh, he'll take a few months out, and then, because they already got shit going on, you can't just bring him in the middle of everything. And then bring him in for Rumble right in time to get him onto the WrestleMania card. And it's like, okay. But when he was in WWE the first time, he was kicking shitballs all over the place. And then he goes to AEW, where it's supposed to be like a new thing, and it's kicking shitballs all over the place there.
I think
when he came back for WWE from Fox, and he was in that
show that they were doing.
Oh, he was kicking shitballs there too. It was like, fuck, man.
And he wasn't hired by WWE; he was hired by Fox.
Exactly.
He was under Fox's contract, so his kicking shitballs was with them.
And I'm like, okay, it seems, and I've heard, it was a promo. It was an in-ring promo with him and Triple H, but it seems so real.
Oh yeah, when he did the walkout.
Yeah, he's like, even if you get everything that you want, Triple H is talking to CM Punk. He's like, even if you get everything that you want, it's still not enough. And it's like, even like, unless you're on top, Phil Brooks isn't happy, then nobody could be happy.
Yep.
And it's kind of looking that
he's
way.
Like, he wants to be the catalyst of change, but it's only if it's in his best interest.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not what's best for business, it's what's best for Phil. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, it's not, trust me, it's not hard to be a CM Punk fan even after this, because you kind of see it coming. He talks the same way, he acts the same way at all times. He is like hot-headed, he's outspoken, he is very brash. But then you see things like this and you're an AEW fan, and you're like, well, I was kind of enjoying the breath of fresh air of you being there. And in a selfish move, you turn your back on the fans for whatever reason. But if it's theory that you say, and then he's like, I want to be on a bigger stage. If he shows up,
I don't even think he wants to be on a bigger stage. I think he just wanted to be in a less toxic environment. I think being there
which is funny because the Elite was saying that he was toxic, and he was saying that they were toxic, because you got wrestlers who are on the card that are EVPs, and it's like, no, you got to branch that shit out, because now they get like a little chip on their shoulder when it comes to how things go. Look at the Trio Championships. This is like everything when it came to the start of AEW. Even when Cody Rhodes was there, everything was built and booked
around the Elite.
Them. Title wins, matches, main event. It was like, dude, you got other people on your card, right?
Yep.
And you have other people on this roster, correct? So it's not even like seeing Cody Rhodes go to WWE and he's getting treated like kind of like storyline shit. It's like, no, he's getting treated regularly. We were just used to him being everywhere in our face with every title on him, with the title on him, not every title, but the title.
Yeah, because he only had the TNT title, and I think he won that twice. And the second time he only won it because Brody had to drop it. Yeah. Before he passed.
Before he had passed, because I think he got injured and he was having some complications, so he dropped it and then he won it back. But when you think of that kind of environment, you're like, okay, it's either their way or the highway, and it doesn't really seem like Phil Brooks is going to take that shit. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll drive as far as I will walk 1,000 miles. Like,
I think that was the issue. I think if you look at what AEW is, right, and you look at WWE, not that AEW is terrible, but AEW has a very biased background right now. Your guys are indie hearts, right? You have these indie sweethearts that you signed to give them, this big time airtime, and they're on TV and they're seeing this, fans are able to see them for the first time ever.
Right.
But the issue is that if they're not one of your elite buddies, they're not going to get a push.
Right.
So you're sitting there and watching as a fan, you're like, well, these guys are really not trying to push me. So there's a lot of wrestlers who voice that they're not being used right or not being utilized the way they thought,
Creative
the way they were told. Yeah, and that's the issue. Is like a lot of these guys are like, why am I in catering when you told me I would be one of your guys here? Like Miro, he had a match in All Out, and it was his 6th match of the year.
Yeah,
we're in September. Why is this 6 matches only?
Well, I've seen that he had been injured so long that like creative didn't have anything for him. But there's you can't have no creative for that many people. Then there's a problem with your creative department. Because if you
which is only TK, I think it's TK and 4 other writers that are yes men to him.
No, then that's his fault. Because at that point you'd be like, okay, Powerhouse Hobbs isn't doing anything, and Mira's not. Okay, cool. We got ourselves a story. It doesn't have to make sense. Just fucking give them something. Like,
it could even be a random one-off match for now till you figure something out. Put them on the camera and let the fans get behind them, because Miro has a really good following.
You got 4 shows. You got ROH, you got Rampage, you got Dynamite, and you got Collision. You got creative. You got enough space to give everybody time to be. And even if they make a title for the Collisions, you don't have to have just one title across AEW. You can WWE, which kind of eases the blow, because you have guys like Roman Reigns that hold it for eternity, but then you have a conga line of people who are like, well, I want to be champion, I want to be champion, I want to be champion, and then you have the fans that are just like, well, when's Shinsuke Nakamura gonna hold it, or when's Finn Balor gonna hold it, or when's Sheamus gonna hold it again?
When they're just gonna have a chance to fight for it at this point?
Yeah. When you have an Intercontinental Championship, you have a really good match like we had from Chad Gable and Gunther wins again. I get what they're trying to do, but damn, it's like you're trying to get new age people into those ranks, and it's working because the storyline is good. But you have guys like Chad Gable who deserve that championship, who deserve that spotlight, and they're not getting it. And it's like, I'm not saying that the title has to change every month to make everybody happy, but shit.
At least put them in the spotlight. And I think WWE, for the most part, has been able to do that. And you can see where AEW, they just keep pushing their same guys.
They're reverting the same way that Vince reverts. When shit hits the fan and he doesn't want it to do, he calls Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar holds the championship for 6 months. He always reverts. Or you'll call Goldberg. Goldberg had the title for a goddamn year. Like, it's just like, dude, why? Like,
their only story right now, the only story in AEW that makes complete sense, and it's actually really entertaining, is the MJF and Adam Cole story right now.
Right, it's really good.
And it's really good. It's really funny. It's investing. You don't know what's gonna happen. It looks like he's gonna turn on one of them's gonna turn on the other, but then it doesn't happen. So it's like it's really entertaining to see, and I can definitely get behind that story.
Right.
But then you look at the other stories. Miro, CJ Perry shows up, his wife, at All Out, and
he just leaves.
Now, again, this is being recorded before Rampage and all the other shows are going to drop out.
Right.
So we obviously don't know what is next of this, but think about, like, you're stuck in this. What's going to happen? Like, what story are you trying to build with this? Because it doesn't make sense. Yes, Miro damned his wife and damned his he forsaken something else that he gave, like all his like items, and just so he can try to be a great wrestler. And I'm like, okay, but you brought her into storyline. What's the reason behind it? Is it so you bring them back together and let her be his, the Lana that you saw from before? Mm-hmm. So, all right, people, we're here celebrating our 4 years, and we want to go ahead and take a quick break, and we want to let you guys know about a great product that your boys here at the Rated F have decided to go ahead and partner with.
Yes.
If you haven't heard about it, it is called Lift Life. So what we want to introduce to you is that it's a great product that we enjoy. I've been working out with it already. It's definitely great with sweat wicking. I love the way it feels. It's a little bit more compressed on the one I have right now. And I love the way like when I'm working out, it doesn't feel like it's in the way. Like I had a couple shirts back in the day, it would kind of get right in my armpit, and when I would lift, it would feel like it's like pinching in there.
Right.
This doesn't really give me that feeling, and I definitely like when I'm sweating, because you know how I sweat, bro. I'm a hog. So I'm sweating like a hooker in church. And I'm sitting there sweating in it, and it doesn't stick, it doesn't cling to me. So I definitely love the way this shirt feels. Again, they have everything from shirts, they have shorts, they have women, they have tank tops, they have sports bras, leggings, hoodies. So it's a lot of great items that they have there. So please, guys, go ahead and check it out. Robbie, how can they get into this?
It's actually pretty easy. I've checked out a few things myself. My favorite are the I think it's called the compact bags. They have backpacks, and it is friggin' awesome. I love the way I love pockets to put.
I know, I've seen that about you.
I love it. But and they have great apparel. They have a very wide range of apparel, but it's very easy. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to liftlifeapparel.com, and you're going to use our promo code, which is going to be the rated F, all capital letters, and you're going to get 10% off. So once again, that is going to be liftlife.com, and you're going to use our promo code, the rated F, that's THERATEDF, for a 10% off your next purchase. I have to say, guys, this is a really good product. This is a really good opportunity for you guys to have comfortable apparel for your next workout. Take a look.
Yep. All right, guys. So till next time, let's get back to the show. A lot of their stories don't make a lot of sense. There's not a lot of thought behind some of the storylines, in my humble opinion. I don't sit there and watch AEW every day or every week.
I don't have cable, so I don't. I catch the highlights, but it's like when it comes to a lot of storylines, I feel like they see not the story that could be made, but the people that could be utilized simply because they have it. They have spent. It's a billionaire with a really big toy chest, and he's digging through the toys, and he goes, "Oh, I haven't seen this toy in a while. Okay,
I'll bring up another thing. He has Paige. He had Ruby Soho and Tony Storm all in the same team. Called them the Outcast. Loved it. Actually, was a great storyline for the women. And then it didn't make sense anymore. And then you gave Tony Storm the title first, which was fine. I actually didn't mind that. And then she loses the title, and then you give it to Paige in this weird triple threat that now Tony Storm has lost her mind. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And then you have Ruby Soho still kind of rocking with Paige in this Outcast role, but it's just so confusing. I don't know. Like, you have a lot of gold there, and then you just kind of like, all right, I'm done with it, and like, let's just do this and go completely right field with it. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I mean, back to the CM Punk thing. I think that him being fired and being kind of like set an example of when it comes to how you should be like conduct yourself in the backstage, or how you should conduct yourself moving forward for the entire roster, like when it comes to being employed by AEW. I think this is a good thing. They've had really good shows back to back, pretty much in a week apart when it came to All In and All Out.
Yeah, completely a week apart.
Their biggest show was Wembley with All In, and that was 80,000 plus people.
Yeah, like, I think it sold out, or it just barely sold out. Like, it was like just under the sellout.
Right. And it was a smart move. Like, you go somewhere where, say, WWE or wrestling promotions or entertainment in that, caliber and wrestling caliber don't really go to make it a big show.
Well, WWE was over there with NXT, the NXT UK.
Yeah, they shut that
And
down. So.
they had to shut it down because of just what they were planning for. It fell through.
Yeah.
But they're gonna revamp it. They're actually gonna bring it back as another type of show.
Yeah,
It'll be a
it's
UK show.
revamped, yeah. It's not NXT UK anymore, but it's something like NXT Europe or something. It's like more broad. It's more broad. I can't remember exactly what they were going to name it, but I mean, they were trying to do NXT India, and that shit didn't fall through. So
yeah, I think they're still working on that because they were trying to do it where they'll hit a lot of spots.
Yeah.
But yeah,
good. Which is good. But I think with the CM Punk situation, this is good for AEW because it's kind of like a new beginning. As I've heard a few people on Instagram or a few wrestlers on Instagram say, it's like it feels like AEW has been cleansed, and the problem was the cleaning of CM Punk. And it's like, okay, but you can't just blame him. It's not like he was.
It wasn't like he was the only one doing it. He's not the only.
He's not.
Something has to have been instigated, and I feel like there was a lot of instigation from Elite and others in the background.
Yeah, there was too many instances of where like he was the target of it, but they know that he's not going to back down, so it ended up being that way. I mean, I wish him the best of luck. I'm gonna be a CM Punk fan for God knows how long. I was a CM Punk fan when he was in what was it? Yeah, the sorry excuse or
the ECW.
ECW, yeah, doing WWE.
Yeah, when they tried to bring it back, and actually that's where I saw him for the first time. I never saw his. I never saw him
in ROH.
Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. I never saw him in ROH or any of the other like his other indie shows. So my introduction to him was through ECW.
Yeah.
And it was actually I was like, oh wow, he's a really good wrestler, very technical. I love technical wrestling. I was a big Dean Malenko fan because I just love the grapples and it looks so cool to see. And I was like, man, I really enjoyed watching it. His promo skills are really good. And then he won the title a few times. He was the Money in the Bank and the pipe bomb, obviously. I think he lives too much on the pipe bomb, and that's his issue. The pipe bomb happened. That hype got him really over by the fans. And he forever lived off of the pipe bomb.
Yeah. Well, there's things like that, and then there's also AJ Lee's pipe bomb. There's when she was having an altercation with the Bella twins.
Yeah.
And she told them that talent isn't sexually transmitted. That was fucking hilarious. But it also changed the game for what a women's wrestler is. So now we have doors open for ladies like Becky Lynch, like when you have Charlotte Flair, when you have Asuka. Like at the time of the Divas, like that was it. Like you had Brie Bella.
They were just they were sex appeal.
Yeah. It was covered, watered down sex appeal because before that you had like Sable, you had Trish Stratus, they were
Tori Wilson,
they were posing for Playboy. The late Ashley, I think her name was Ashley Mendez, the one who died.
Oh yeah.
What was her stage name? I can't remember her stage name.
God, I just blanked on her stage name.
It'll come. But I mean, when I think her name was Ashley Mendez, I'm not exactly sure. But she, unfortunately, she had killed herself, and I was just like, whoa, like there's a lot of changes.
Ashley Massaro.
That's Massaro. What was the stage name?
That was her name. She went by her real name.
Oh, okay, cool. So, like when it comes to things like that, it was just like, okay, we kind of have to rid ourselves from that. And at that time, there were very few that wanted to just wrestle. They wanted to be like these cute Barbie dolls, and it was just like, all right, it's fun.
Trish Stratus was a really good wrestler, and but she was really hot, and they just went off of her sex appeal, which she had no problem doing. But when she would wrestle, she was really good in the ring.
Right.
It was only like in the women at the time the Divas division, it was only her and Lita who pretty much were running it as far as like actually good wrestlers until like a lot of others started like breaking in the door. AJ and Ashley Massaro was pretty good in her day, and then There's a few others that were like really pretty decent, and I was like, man, like there was a lot of women wrestlers that could have and should have been more of a focal point, but they were so focused on let's make them a sex symbol.
Yeah.
Alicia Fox is another one that got better in the ring. She wasn't really good, and then she got really good out of nowhere.
And then you got Michelle McCool, who's still A+.
Yeah.
The last Rumble, she wrestled in Ugg boots. She was drinking a soda on the sideline. She was like, okay, I guess I'm in it. And she damn near won. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like
she has there's a lot of women that I wish would have had a better chance. Hell, Kelly probably could have, because she was very athletic, but she wasn't ring savvy. She was another one that was really pretty, but
they treated her like a girls next door, and then they threw her in an ECW, and she was dancing on poles, and we were like, fuck. Like, damn, like, and not to say that you can't be sexy in a day and age like now, but it wasn't needed. Like, we're watching wrestling. This is not,
But I tell you what, they lived off of the 90s hype, the Attitude Era, which was the golden era right now of wrestling.
I'm gonna say it right now, I enjoyed myself.
Yep, the bra and panties matches. I was right there with my dad's hand like this, so I couldn't watch it. Quote unquote.
We gotta bring back some of them bar and panty matches, because it's not like it's not a lot of. It's funny because the biggest mouths when it comes to women, when they say that it ridicules them or belittles women when they do like a bra and panties match, or if they do something that's sexy, is usually the women that don't look like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, it was like Trish Stratus who actually came vocal, because I think she did one bra and panties match, and
it shouldn't be the focal point of what the women's division should be, and it's really a nonsense kind of a match. But if that's something, and the ladies are willing to do it,
I disagree though. I think it had its day. It kept asses in seats, and it did its job as far as what the 90s was calling for. The 90s was very raunchier.
It's very child based.
Not even just that, because they've opened the there are PG-14 now, so they are saying and doing things a little bit more edgier, but not raunchier. Mm-hmm. So I think I still just think it's just outplayed itself now. Like, you shouldn't do that now, because the women have showed that they are much, much more athletic and are capable.
I think it's
to
main event. Right. I think it's not a situation of them showing it. It's just people opening their eyes that they always had. It's like, you're a pretty face. Yeah, Becky Lynch is gorgeous, but she can handle a cage match and do some shit. Like, it's like, it is a capability of it, but the capability was always there. You just got to give them a chance to actually do it. And that's like, you have shows like Evolution from WWE. They only did one of them. It was a full pay-per-view, only women's matches, and it did good.
Yeah,
they never did it again, and it's like, well, why? So it's sad to say, is like, I'm not a feminist. I actually don't like feminists whatsoever, because usually it's about some dumb shit. But when you are an activist for women's rights, in a sense, and you're active for pushing women forward, it's not to belittle anybody else or to ridicule men for anything. But it's to give an opportunity.
There's a fine line
for the women to show that, we could have done this shit the whole time. But that's what WWE does now. We still hear things like, oh, we got to do better with the women's division, better with the men's division. Okay, then do it. Keep talking about it, just do it. But it's sad that we still, and I still hear people say when a women's match comes on, that's a bathroom break.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you see like, bathroom break, and it's like,
I've seen,
and I watch a lot of the women's.
That's a bathroom break.
There's a lot of men's matches that I'm like, I'm gonna go. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go use the bathroom now. Like, there's a lot of men's matches I feel like that are more of a bathroom break than the actual women's matches.
I remember when they did a show in Saudi Arabia. It was Undertaker versus Goldberg. That's a bathroom break. That
that match did not need to be done, but it was
on paper, but it sucks so bad. And they
it was a Saudi. The Saudi prince wanted to see that. That was 100%
the Saudi
what happened.
prince wanted to see Yokozuna 20 years after he passed. Like, I don't know.
He wanted him and Ultimate Warrior.
And also, like, dude, these guys are dead and old. Doing. Like, but
he's like, yeah, give me back Hulk Hogan too. And they were like, Hulk Hogan had his 3rd hip surgery. He's not gonna. He's gonna get in the ring and drop a promo for you, brother.
Yeah, you should have brought back Ric Flair because he still wants to do one more match.
Yeah, he did that. He did a farewell match in an indie show, and then I think he's like, I want another one. I can do another one. Anyways,
yeah.
I actually have a pretty interesting. I actually have 2 interesting news. I normally don't only do one, but I do want to do 2. One of them is going to be pretty quick, but I think it's going to be it's scary, but give us a good laugh. Woman uses belly fat to sneak gun into the White Sox game, and it goes off. And if you don't know who the White Sox are, it's the Chicago White Sox of the Major League Baseball team.
Right. Yeah.
Here's what the story reads. A woman snuck in a gun into the White Sox game by hiding it in the folds of her belly fat. I'm going to keep moving on that one. 2 females were shot during the 4th inning of the White Sox game against the Oakland Athletics on Friday night, with one grazed in the stomach and the other taking a bullet to the leg. The gunshots came from the woman left with the grazing after she accidentally fired the weapon inside the guaranteed rate field. She is understood to have snuck it past security through the metal detectors by hiding it in the folds of her belly fat. How fat do you have to be that you were able to hide a gun?
Pretty damn fat. In this day and age, you can't fat shame, but damn. Like, if you can hide metal from a metal detector, you're fat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A spade's a spade. Like, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, but I'm far from that heavy.
She doesn't seem too smart to do a print. You know, how do you say it? The printed copy.
The photocopy.
The 3D printing.
Oh,
3D printing a gun. It wasn't that. She was just too damn fat for the metal detector to see that she had
seriously, bro. That is so crazy that to hear that she was that heavy that they were able to just hide a gun right there.
But the thing is, like, why are you bringing a gun?
That was the big question. Like, why did you bring a gun? Now, I will say this: where the White Sox Stadium is, it's not a great area. It's a pretty raunchy area around the surrounding area.
Where stadiums are, the area around it are shit.
Yeah, but where the White Sox is like very gang. From what I hear, I've never been to the White Sox Stadium, right. But it's like very gang affiliated areas, and there's a lot of like robberies that happen. So I'm sure she took it for safety reasons and then forgot, like, oh, I'm going to a baseball game and there's a metal detector. And she snuck it in, and she had it in her fat fold. I couldn't believe I had to say that. I just honestly could not believe I had to say that.
She fat fold. In God's purse, her fat folds.
Oh God! And then somehow the gun fired itself. I don't know now. What it doesn't say, did it fire itself? Like, did she leave it in her fat fold the entire time, and then like when she was moving, it shot? And why she got grazed?
First of all, the gun was loaded, so she's in trouble for that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And she had a gun, so she's in trouble for that shit. But how fat do you have to be for your fat to
pull the trigger?
Yeah, you gotta pull the trigger.
So she's Majin Buu.
It went into the trigger and click. That's fat.
She has to be. I imagine it to look like Majin Buu.
You're what the hell? And
oh yeah.
She shot him probably skinny as fuck. That's why she shot him. She shot him. She was jealous.
God, it had to have been.
That's crazy.
But yeah, anyone who's knows the story, have heard of the story, if you have more, drop in the comments. Or you want to let us know how you feel about that. We're not fat shaming, but come on, there's got to be a way. Well, I'm not. There's got to be a way where you could feel out that I think I'm a little too big, just a little.
There's nothing wrong with being fat in the sense of, I mean, yeah, it's not healthy for you, but if you're just naturally bigger, fine. If you make the effort to lose weight, cool. Kudos to you. But if you're fat enough to hide a gun from a metal detector, fuck you. I don't. No, at that point, it ain't shaming. You need help. It's the hell.
Well, my other news I had was, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Indian government is reportedly preparing to change the country's name to Bharat.
I heard about that. Bharat. Yeah.
Bharat.
It's like BHARAT or some shit like that.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And so India's CNBC reports that the government is preparing to change the name of the country to Bharat. India's president also sent out a G20 dinner invitation in which she titled the president of Bharat.
Yeah.
And actually, I did see on this story when I was watching, I found it. It actually had the picture of the invitation, and it says it at the top.
Huh. I wonder what the significance of that is.
I don't know. It doesn't really state.
Move? Is it because I mean, it don't change it. Like you could change the name to India from Haagen-Dazs. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Like, but like, what is the? Because there's so much that you have to change with changing the name of a country.
Yep.
So now, like, you're not a citizen of India, you're a citizen of Bharat. So now you have to get your paperwork changed. Like, all these.
I don't know, man.
Grandfathered in. That's a lot of work for what? Like, what's the significance? I'm curious.
Yeah, because then you gotta have to have all these people within, let's say, a year and a half, change their IDs to say Bharat now versus India.
New identification, new driver's license, new
social security numbers.
I don't know if they have social security over there.
That was the one thing I said it, but I was like
paperwork or something. I can't remember exactly what it is.
And then not only that, now you have to have like the U.S. or any of the other countries have to have it changed from Indian to, I guess, Bharatian.
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? But at the same time, you got to think about that.
Indian
like now they have to do
Bharatian food.
Bharatian food.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
It actually sounds like an actual dish. Would you like a Bharat?
Would you like some Bharatian food? Like, yeah, sounds a little better than Indian food. And Indian food is boss.
Indian food is pretty bomb. During the pandemic, my wife found this Indian spot and we ordered it on Uber Eats.
Right.
Boy, it was good. It had like a little kick. What I ate was a little bit spicy, but it was just enough that I could enjoy it.
What are you doing this weekend? Let's go.
Honestly, I don't have no idea what I'm doing this weekend, but we'll figure it out.
Indian food. Yeah, man. Well, shit, that's crazy. All right, go.
Yeah, man.
India.
Bharatia. Go Bharat. Go Bharat now.
Go Bharat.
All right, guys. So, Robbie, 4 years, man. This has been amazing. We're gonna continue for another 4, hopefully.
A lot more than 4, man. And thank you.
A lot more than 4.
I checked the subscribers. We got 95 on YouTube, and we got a couple of heads coming out on the podcast and whatnot. We're growing. I feel like, we've been doing this for 4 years, but I feel like the most growth that we've seen has been in the last 5 months. We've really
I think
put the pedal to the metal when it comes to getting our heads together. You know me, I was not an Apple fan whatsoever, and I got Apple.
Team Apple, baby.
Yeah, I got Apple underwear now. Shit, it's good. So and it's for the benefit of this, in the sense of making it what we want to do is not just a hobby anymore. We're trying to make it a business, and whether it be a new stream of income or the single stream of income, and this is what we do. This is how we make money.
Yep.
Then we have strived this far, and we're going to keep going until it pops. And it's all thanks to you guys.
Honestly,
tell your grandma. Tell your church.
Honestly, it's been amazing. Yeah, tell the priest. I don't think he's gonna be sitting there most of the time like that.
He'll point to the TV and he'll be like, for 1 second, let's get with just you see this, the Rated F podcast. Go ahead and put that on YouTube. I know half of y'all are on your phone. And subscribe to that channel, and then boom, there's 50 people. He does that every week until we get We gotta do that. We gotta look at that.
Till we get about 1,000, then after that, he doesn't have to do it no more.
Yeah. No, keep going.
Honestly, it's if he wants to. Honestly, this has been amazing. It's been, like you said, like the last 5-6 months has been definitely a difference in how we've been going as far as our product.
Yeah.
I think, shout out to a lot of the people who've helped us out in the behind the scenes and
100%.
who have guided us. JC, aka PrimeTime Nino, who's loaned us 2 songs. It's funny, like I've said it before with him that I still vividly remember saying, man, like when we first did our first couple episodes, if you watch our first couple episodes, there was no intro to it. It was just kind of like goes right into us talking.
Yeah.
And I remember like we were just talking about like, well, what's a good intro to work on? And then my brother goes, well, why don't you reach out to PrimeTime and see if he would let you use one of the songs? Because he had already picked the song that we think to use. So I was like, okay. And we both loved the song, which was Thrill.
Yeah.
And then I still listen to that CD.
Anthem, like
that album was bomb.
Yeah. You see the nostalgia on the background, like we have the old graphic up, and I was listening to our old intro. I still have the video, and I was like, so well, like it just fits, and everything PrimeTime just fits with what, like, it's a great collaboration between Rated F and PrimeTime, and that's it. I don't think that's going away. That's definitely going to be something that we cherish and hold on to for a while.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot going on with him too. I know I won't leak it, but I know we're working on a lot of stuff with him, and we're working on a few other things.
Potentially. That's good.
But honestly, guys, thank you guys for the 4 years. This has been, just a whole new world for us.
Yes, definitely. We have fun, and as I said, like, this is us talking to our best friend, but we do it for you guys. Again, I mentioned Jay, your younger brother, who some of you guys might know as Jay Xavier. I know him as Baby Justin or Baby Sasquatch.
Oh God,
old Baby Sasquatch. I want to shout out to him, even though we have tussles here and there, whatever. Push that shit to the side. When we were first starting, he did our edits, and we paid him to do our edits, and that shit is hard. And it would take him forever and a day to do an edit, but he worked his ass off to do it and get us on. And if it weren't for him, we would have been stuck trying to figure that shit out on our own.
Yep, and he still helps out because I do the edits now for us, and I gotta say, like, sometimes I'm sitting there doing it and I'm stuck, and he'll come over and just, do this and this, it'll help it out. And I'm like, oh, okay,
He's
cool.
a whiz, man. He's a whiz. So I thank you, Justin, for the hard work that you've done. Thank you for us being a part of JPW and whatever collaboration that we can. Especially with the commentary, and I know that you've said it yourself. We make the show when it comes to our enthusiasm and our energy that we bring to it. But thank you for giving us another revenue to show our face, man. Thank you.
Yep. Well, Robbie, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to bring up to the table?
No, until next time.
Until next time, everybody. Yep. Until you see you guys next week, guys.
Wow, this is the thrill. Welcome to the thrill. Giving you something that's real. Tell me how you really feel. Now that you're hearing the thrill. I was all on my own. Now we're looking at it home. Spit the dish up from the dome. We gone, and this is the thrill. Welcome to the thrill. Giving you something that's real. Tell me how you really